It's 11 o'clock at night. You're exhausted, your body feels heavy in the chair and your eyes are burning. You know you desperately need to sleep. But the very moment you lay your head on the pillow, it happens. Your brain, which has been dragging itself through the entire day, decides now is the time to kick into overdrive. Suddenly, it opens a spreadsheet with all the mistakes you made, starts playing disaster trailers for tomorrow's meetings, and your heart, once calm, begins to race as if you just had a double espresso. This feeling has a name, and believe me, it's not just insomnia. It's your internal crisis manager, a part of your system called cortisol that simply refuses to go home. It genuinely thinks you are still in danger, in the middle of a battle. And that's why, in this video, I'm not going to give you a miracle tea or a 40-minute meditation. I'm going to teach you a practical 10-minute ritual to finally fire that manager every night. And once and for all, pass out in bed. Think of cortisol as your body's fire alarm. It was designed to go off in real emergencies, but the modern world has broken our system. Today, the alarm goes off because your boss sent an email at 9 p.m., because you saw a piece of bad news, or because you spent too much time scrolling through a feed that made you feel inadequate. The alarm keeps ringing softly all day long, and when the silence of the night arrives, you finally hear it at full volume. I lived for years trapped in this cycle. I would lie down and feel my body vibrating with anxiety, waking up more tired than when I went to sleep. I thought the fault was mine, that I didn't know how to relax. The truth is, I didn't know how to turn off the alarm. If this sounds familiar to you, understand this once and for all. You are not broken. You are just using an ancient biological instruction manual in a world that changes too quickly. And today, we are finally going to update that manual. Think of your mind at the end of a long day as a backpack that you've been filling without any criteria, with the stones of every worry. A bill to pay becomes a stone, a difficult conversation becomes another, the fear of tomorrow, an entire rock. Trying to fall asleep, carrying this weight on your back is not just uncomfortable, it's a recipe for failure. Wisdom isn't found in having more strength to carry the backpack, but in learning to empty it before you go to bed. This is where I introduce you to a ridiculously simple yet transformative practice, the brain dump. With nothing more than a notebook and a pen, I want you to literally dump everything that weighs on your conscience. Don't worry about order, beautiful sentences, or logic. It can be reply to the boss's email, that idea for the new project, the anger I felt in traffic, or simply buy bread. Your goal here is not to solve, it's to remove. You might wonder why such a trivial act works so effectively. The explanation is that your brain, in its essence, hates open loops and keeps them on an infinite cycle for fear of forgetting them. By physically transferring that worry to paper, you send a clear signal to it. This has been noted and is safe. You can let go. I confess, I doubted it myself at first, but the feeling of closing that notebook is like closing 50 open tabs in your mind's browser. The relief you'll feel is almost instantaneous, a calm that settles in when you realize your worries now have a place to live. That isn't inside your head. This ritual marks the end of your mind's workday. However, emptying your thoughts is only half the battle, because often, even with a quiet mind, your body remains on high alert, vibrating with the energy of stress. You need, then, to calm the machine. Now that your mind is lighter, you need a command for your body, which is still operating in alert mode. Think of your anxiety as a car's fifth gear, high speed, maximum RPM, impossible to stop and rest. You can't fall asleep in this state. Simply trying to relax doesn't work, because you need a tool to consciously shift down the gears, one by one, until you finally find neutral. That tool is your own breath. It acts as a remote control for your nervous system, and the technique is incredibly simple. Wherever you are, sitting or lying down, slowly inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Then hold the air in your lungs, again counting to 4. Finally, and this is the most important part, exhale through your mouth as slowly as you can, counting to 6 or ideally to 8. This long exhale activates your vagus nerve, which is your stress system's natural handbrake. The first few times you try this, your mind will still want to race, trying to pull your attention back to worries. This is normal. When it happens, don't fight it, just focus on the count. The count is your anchor. I remember after a few cycles, physically feeling my body melting into the bed, an unmistakable sensation that the internal alarm, which was once blaring, was finally being deactivated, bringing a deep silence. With just 3 minutes, you aren't just relaxing, you are changing your biology. You are telling every cell in your body that the danger has passed and it is now safe to rest. With a silenced mind and a relaxed body, you have created a blank canvas, a space of peace. But the mind doesn't like a void. The question now is, what will you paint this canvas with in the minutes before sleep? With the colors of fear, or with something that nourishes your soul? With a quiet mind and a relaxed body, you hold a blank canvas. But your brain, by nature, acts like a spotlight, and its default setting is to illuminate the stage of drama, the mistakes you made, the fears about the future, the flaws. Gratitude is the conscious act of taking control of this spotlight and pointing it backstage to those small scenes of beauty and kindness that happened in your day that you didn't even notice. The practice, which I call the gratitude scanner, is simple. For the next 3 minutes, while still breathing calmly, your only task is to find 3 very specific things you felt grateful for today. The golden rule is nothing generic like, I'm grateful for my family. Be micro-specific. I'm grateful for the taste of my morning coffee, for the good morning text I received, for the warmth of the sun on my face for a moment. At first, this might feel like an effort, especially on bad days. But this practice reprograms the flavor of your thoughts before sleep. I vividly remember how my nights went from having the bitter taste of worry to having the warmth of contentment. It's a subtle but profound shift that happens when you teach your brain to look for what worked, not just what went wrong. By doing this, you are tending to your emotional landscape, ensuring that the soil where your sleep will grow is fertile and peaceful. Now that you have calmed your mind, body, and nourished your spirit, there is only one last step left, to shield this sanctuary you have just built. What good is it to tidy up the whole house and turn off the lights if you leave the front door wide open for the chaos of the outside world to enter? Your internal house is in order, but the door to the street remains open. It's time to close it. Think of your body as a cell phone. You don't expect the battery to truly recharge if the Wi-Fi, 4G, and all the notifications are still active, draining power. The final step of this ritual is therefore to put your body into sensory airplane mode, disconnecting it from the stimuli that keep it tethered to the world. Start with vision, the most powerful sense for signaling to your brain that the day is over. Make your room as dark as possible, like a cave. The blue light from phone screens or the TV is the biggest enemy of your sleep, so swap it for a book, or, even better, for nothing. For your hearing, if absolute silence makes you more anxious, try white noise or nature sounds at a low volume, creating a protective sound bubble. Now turn your attention to touch. Truly feel the weight and texture of your blanket, the softness of your pillow against your face. Wear clothes that are comfortable, that don't constrict or bother you. When I combined this total darkness with calm breathing, I felt as if I had created an inviolable sanctuary in my own room, a safe haven from all the chaos I had left outside the door. With these 4 gates, the mental, the physical, the emotional, and now the sensory, properly closed, you haven't just prepared yourself for sleep. You have completed a powerful act of self-declaration. You have looked at your routine and the world's demands and finally drawn a clear boundary, redefining the sacred value of your own rest and well-being. So let's recap. It's just 10 minutes. 2 minutes for the brain dump, emptying the backpack of worries. 3 minutes for the alarm deactivation breath, calming your body. 3 for the gratitude scanner, shifting your focus. And 2 minutes for the sensory airplane mode, shielding your sanctuary. Simple, practical, and transformative. But understand that this ritual is much more than just another task on your to-do list. It is perhaps the most profound act of self-care and self-respect you can practice today. It is you, in practice, saying firmly and clearly to the world, to the demands, and to yourself, my rest, my recovery, my peace, are non-negotiable. Building this habit is like learning to surf. In the beginning, you will fall off the board. There will be nights when your stubborn mind will still win. But every time you practice, every night you dedicate yourself to this ritual, you get your balance a little better. Until, without even noticing, you'll be gliding smoothly over the waves of anxiety, heading straight for the shore of a deep and truly restorative sleep. The question I leave you with is this: how long will you treat your rest as an optional item? What could you build, create, or achieve if you woke up every day with a truly recharged mind and body? If you are ready to make your sleep a priority and want to keep learning how to use your body's manual to your advantage, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. Your journey to a life with more energy and clarity is just beginning.